You ever wonder why certain guys just live in a girl's head rent-free? Like she'll be in the middle of her day at work with her friends doing something completely unrelated and he just pops up. She's smiling at her phone for no reason. She's replaying a conversation from 3 days ago. She's thinking about him without even meaning to. And then there's the other guy, the one who texts her good morning every single day, the one who checks in constantly, the one who is always there, and she barely thinks about him at all. That's not cruel, that's just how attraction works. And if you've ever been the second guy wondering why she's not thinking about you the way you're thinking about her, this video is going to change everything. Because here's what nobody tells you. You don't make a woman think about you by being more present. You make her think about you by leaving the right impression when you're not. It's not about what you say when you're with her. It's about what she feels when you're gone. And that feeling, that pull, that inability to stop replaying the conversation, that's something you can create. Intentionally, consistently, without games, without manipulation. Just pure, grounded, magnetic energy. 8 ways. Let's get into it. Number 1. End every conversation at the peak. Most guys make the same mistake. They stay too long. They drag the conversation until it runs out of gas, until the energy dips, until she's half checked out and he's scrambling to keep it alive. And when it finally ends, it ends flat. Nothing to think about, nothing to replay. But the guy who stays in her head, he leaves early. He ends it when the energy is highest, when she's laughing, when she's engaged, when she wants more. And then he's just gone. And now she's sitting there thinking, wait, why did he leave? I wanted more of that. That's the thought you want. Not relief that the conversation ended. Curiosity that it ended too soon. Next time you're talking and the vibe is good, that's your exit point. Not when it dies, when it's alive. Leave her wanting one more message, one more minute, one more of whatever that was. Number 2. Say things she's never heard from a guy before. Most guys say the same things. You're beautiful. I really like you. I haven't felt like this in a while. And look, those things aren't bad, but she's heard them from the last guy and the one before that. And they didn't stick. What sticks is specific. What sticks is unexpected. What sticks is the thing she replays at 2 a.m. because no one has ever said it quite like that. Instead of you're beautiful, say something like, you've got this energy that's hard to ignore. Like you walk in a room and something just shifts. Instead of I like talking to you, say, conversations with you feel different. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm paying attention. Specific, real, unexpected. She'll screenshot it. She'll read it again. She'll think about it in the shower tomorrow. Generic compliments disappear. Specific observations stick. Be the guy who actually sees her, not just what she looks like, but how she moves, how she thinks, what makes her different. That stays with her. Number 3. Have a life that's genuinely interesting. This one isn't a trick. It's not a tactic. It's just the truth. If you want to occupy her thoughts, your life has to be worth thinking about. When you have things going on, goals you're chasing, projects you're building, experiences you're collecting, you naturally become more interesting. She'll find herself wondering what you're up to, wondering how that thing you mentioned is going, wondering about the version of your life she hasn't seen yet. But if every time she asks what you're doing, the answer is nothing much, just chilling, there's nothing to wonder about. There's no mystery, no story, no journey she wants to follow. Build things, do things, go places, learn things. Not for her, for you. But watch how it changes the way she thinks about you. A man in motion is a man worth thinking about. Number 4. Be completely unpredictable in the best way. Predictable is comfortable, and comfortable doesn't keep you up at night. The guy she can't stop thinking about does things she doesn't expect. He surprises her with his depth when she thought he was just funny. He surprises her with his humor when she thought he was serious. He goes deep in a conversation she expected to be surface level. He pulls back slightly right when she thought he was fully hooked, not in a manipulative way, in a genuinely layered, multi-dimensional way. Because here's the thing about predictability. When she can fully predict you, she stops paying close attention. But when you keep surprising her when she thinks she has you figured out and then you say or do something that resets the whole picture, she can't stop trying to figure you out. And that mental effort, that active thinking, that puzzle she's trying to solve, that's you, living in her head. Be more than one thing. Let her discover you in layers. Number 5. Make her feel genuinely understood. This is the most underrated one on this list, and it's the one that creates the deepest, most lasting impression of all. Most guys listen to respond. They're half hearing what she says, already forming their next sentence, already thinking about how to keep the conversation going. But the guy who makes her think about him long after he's gone, He actually listens. He catches the things she said between the lines. He notices the detail she threw in casually that actually meant a lot. He reflects it back to her in a way that makes her feel this person actually gets me. That feeling is rare. Most people go their whole lives without feeling truly understood by someone. When you create that feeling even once, even in a small moment, she doesn't forget it. She doesn't forget you, because you gave her something that almost no one else does. Make her feel seen, not just looked at, actually seen. Number 6. Use silence like a weapon. Not awkward silence, not cold silence, confident silence. The pause after she says something interesting where you just look at her and let the moment breathe before you respond. The text conversation where instead of firing back instantly, you take your time, you think, you reply with something that actually means something. Most guys are terrified of silence. They fill every gap. They rush to respond. They panic when the conversation slows down, and that panic is readable. It says, I'm not comfortable unless you're constantly approving of me. But when you're comfortable in silence, when you let things breathe, when you don't rush, when your responses are slow and deliberate and worth waiting for, it creates a completely different energy. She starts to feel like your attention is valuable. Because you don't just throw it at everything. When you speak, it means something. And that makes everything you say worth replaying. Number 7. Trigger her emotions, not just her logic. Information doesn't keep people up at night. Feelings do. If every conversation you have is just exchanging information, what you did today, what you watched, what you're eating, you're not creating anything she needs to process later. But when you say something that makes her feel something funny that makes her laugh harder than she expected, something honest that catches her off guard, something vulnerable that she didn't see coming from you, that's what she replays. That's what she thinks about on the drive home. Emotion is memory. The moments that stay with us forever are the ones that made us feel something. Be the person who creates those moments. Not by being dramatic or intense, but by being real, by being honest, by being willing to go a little deeper than the average conversation. That depth is what echoes. Number 8. Let her wonder if she has you fully. This is the one most guys completely miss. And I saved it for last because it ties everything together. The guys who live permanently in a woman's thoughts are the guys she's never quite sure she fully has. Not because they're playing games, not because they're unavailable or cold, but because they're genuinely full people with full lives who are choosing to give her their time, and she knows she hasn't seen everything yet. There's more. There's depth she hasn't reached. There's a side of him she hasn't unlocked, and that uncertainty, that sense that there's still more to discover, that's what keeps her coming back. That's what keeps her thinking. The moment she feels like she fully has you, fully understands you, fully knows what she's getting, the thinking slows down. The mystery is gone. So stay interesting, stay layered, keep growing, keep building. Be a man with so much going on inside and outside that she never quite feels like she's finished figuring you out. That's not a game. That's just being a complete, evolving, genuinely interesting human being. And that's the most attractive thing you can possibly be. Here's the real takeaway from everything in this video. You don't make her think about you by chasing her attention. You make her think about you by being someone worth thinking about. By creating real moments. By saying real things. By living a real, interesting, purposeful life that she wants a front row seat to. The guys who stay in her head aren't trying to stay there. They're just so genuinely themselves, so grounded, so layered, so alive that she can't help but wonder about them when they're gone. Stop chasing her thoughts. Start building a version of yourself that earns them. If this video gave you something real, drop a comment and tell me which one of these 8 you're going to apply first. I read every single one. And if you want to go even deeper, I made a full video on the exact signs she's already thinking about you but won't say it out loud. The subtle things women do when you're on their mind. Go watch that one next. You already know where it is.